Welcome to Let's Play OKAMI. Yeah, I kind of failed at the beginning of this because I recorded like 2 minutes of this video. Then my mom walked in like, what the hell are you doing? And it ended up I accidentally stopped the thing because I like had a spaz attack somehow for some reason. And when I explained to her what I was doing, yeah, she just walked away. Good times, good times. Anyway, let's get back into the mood of this video game. Anyway, time to go, narrator. Long, long ago, a tiny hamlet known as OKAMI lay nestled in a grove of proud and beautiful cherry blossoms. Each and every tree around the quiet burg was honored as a god. However, the villagers were not without its dark secrets. Oh my god. To satiate the appetite of Orochi, a fearsome cave-dwelling beast, a young maiden was offered as a sacrifice at the annual festival. With a body like a mountain and 8 heads mounted on a neck the size of tree trunks, its blood-red eyes alone were said to curse anyone who gazed into them. No one dared disobey the horrific beast. This intro is gonna be like 2, maybe 3 videos long, so yeah, be prepared. When the night of the sacrifice drew near, a mysterious white wolf appeared outside the village. This wolf, its coat as brilliant as snow, was dubbed Shiranui. The wolf kept a watchful eye on anyone who ventured outside the village, and made a habit of patrolling the streets at night. People assumed the wolf to be a familiar of Orochi. One villager took it upon himself to face the fearsome Shiranui. The warrior Nagi attempted many times to challenge the wolf, but his attempts were thwarted by Shiranui's swift movements. Before long, the night of the accursed festival had arrived. A white-plumed arrow heralded the coming sacrifice, whatever that word means. Piercing the sky, the arrow sunk its shaft squarely into the home of Nami, the village's most beautiful maiden. Nagi? Nagi and Nami? That would be a very strange couple. Harboring a secret love for Nami, was enraged by this sign. Determined to put an end to Orochi once and for all, Nagi traveled to the beast cave in place of his beloved. Aww. The Moon Cave, a place as dark as evil itself, served as Orochi's home. As Nagi stood bravely before the entrance, a beast appeared, eyes glowing crimson upon 8 thrashing necks. Orochi stood tall before him, anxious for another sacrifice. Nagi leapt with incredible grace, swinging his blade valiantly. On and on he sliced, well into the moonless night. But Orochi's hide was like steel. The blade left nary a scratch. At long last, Nagi, his energy spent from the intense battle, dropped to his knees, fatigued and gasping for breath. He knew he was staring death in the face. It was then that the wolf appeared. As if to protect Nagi, it stood its ground before Orochi. In the darkness of the cave, the wolf's coat shone brilliantly. Alas, it was Shiranui, the wolf that dwelled outside the village. Bearing its fearsome claws, Shiranui leapt forward Orochi. Orochi reared its terrifying heads, readying its fangs for battle. The 2 beasts struggled wildly, thrashing in the darkness. That one in the middle is creeping me out. Okay, yes, change the screen. Mysterious and terrifying, the spectacle continued. Shiranui summoned a gust of divine wind to counter Orochi's flames. I haven't seen this for so long. Now that I've beaten the game a couple times, I'm finding so many interesting little things about this. As Orochi closed in on Shiranui, sharpened claws glistened. A gigantic tree suddenly spouted forth, shielding the wolf. Shiranui fought gallantly to gain the upper hand. However, Orochi, protected by a mystical power, was not easily bested. Shiranui, covered in gashes, majestic coat dyed crimson, stood exhausted before the mighty Orochi. Orochi saw a chance to strike what would be the final blow, but Shiranui refused to give in with its last ounce of strength. The majestic wolf gazed heavenward and unleashed a mighty howl. Suddenly, the black clouds overhead dissipated. Well, that looks cool. I like how they made this moon like colorful and everything else is black and white. Anyway, the light from above glinted off Nagi's sword as a beacon of hope. Guided by his sword, Nagi, who had been taken shelter in the shadows, stood proudly to face his adversary, channeling all his strength into his scarred and battered arms. He leapt ferociously toward Orochi, his sword poised high. The golden sword danced in his hand like a puppet on a string. One by one, Orochi's fearsome heads separated from their owner. That one on the left, that one's weird. Those are very weird. Those are some weird-looking heads. Orochi's broken body collapsed in a lake of its own blood. In that instant, the curse that plagued the villagers was lifted. As the battle subsided, the sun shone once again in the sky. Shiranui had succumbed to Orochi's poison and struggled to breathe. Nagi scooped the beast into his arms and returned to Kamiki. When they reached the village, Shiranui was no longer moving. The village elder gently stroked the wolf's head. In response, Shiranui let out a hoarse and pitiful bark, then closed its eyes and drifted off as if it were into slumber. Peace had at last returned to Kamiki village. In honor of Shiranui's heroic exploits, the villagers erected a shrine and placed a statue of the wolf within it. Nagi's sword was christened Tsukuyomi and placed inside the moon cave. The villagers all looked forward to an age of endless peace. However, this is not the end of the story. Alright, I think this is a good place to end. Because, the story just epically changes right here. So this is a nice place to end this video. So, see you in the next video, part 2.